you know.
Yeah,
and
anything that's the business is keeping your eyeballs there is like, yeah, it's trying to sell you something. It's eventually
like,
that's what the
I mean that's what it all is. Even like LinkedIn, where like they've done this great scam on people. It's like, oh, this is how you connect. This is how you get a fucking job. It's like, no, they're harvesting your data and selling it.
Yeah.
Like to people, like that's what I do. Like I get people like, oh, how'd you get all this information about me? It's like, oh, like I have a data scraper and it scraped your LinkedIn, and like now I have your cell phone number. And
who cares? Not me. I got some really. Who cares? I got a knife sharpener the other day on Instagram. It's amazing. It's a little rolling. It's called the Tumbler. Sharpened all my kitchen knives. I just bought a cat toy that acts like a wounded animal, and it's in the mail coming. This is fantastic.
I love this is interesting though, because it does show the kind of the duality of it, right? And because we all rightfully talk shit on social media, but I think there is a benefit to it. I don't know that it's exactly what you're saying, Matt, where it's like commercial, like now I just get all the shit, that I need, it's just right there. I get that that's a benefit for you.
It's
but
huge.
I don't know if that's a benefit. Is it huge?
It's huge.
Is it huge having a cat toy that like, is that huge?
Yeah,
it's
huge.
Brad,
It's huge.
Don't minimalize this. This is
the fact that I can open a magic, this little thing that I keep in my pocket is this magic box. It has all the information I'd ever need about every single thing I'd ever want to learn about. And it shows me all these fancy things that I can just buy and have probably within 24 hours or 48 hours.
Matt,
it's
once
amazing.
again, for Brad, you're talking to a guy here who uses his $2,000 MacBook as an extra battery bank for his vape.
That's not true.
I've seen you do it, walking around with your vape plugged into your MacBook.
I quit that.
Is this the first time you've used your MacBook for other than nicotine
I quit
purposes?
That. I used to download my smokes off the internet, but I don't do that anymore.
I'm just saying, you're a real pigeon out there in the world, susceptible to marketing and.
He's not wrong though. He's not wrong. I'll give him this. He's not wrong. Like I do get, and when you were talking about like AI organizing your life and shit like this, like I get that. Like that's what I'm saying is like there is some kind of benefit to it, but it's like there's a balance obviously that needs to be struck, and I think that like people are beginning to have that conversation about it, but is it too far down? Like what are the next generations going to be, all that kind of stuff? These are all the interesting questions, and I just don't.
New generations will change with their attitudes. Like if you look at Facebook, it's like basically the raisin bin for all old farts now.
Yeah, no
like
one. It's just once again it's
your grandma's social media.
AI
Instagram's going to be maybe the millennials version of that, and then maybe the new kids. Like maybe there's a generation of kids that are growing up watching their parents glued to their screens, and they're going to say when they get to their teenage years, "That's not cool. I don't want to do that. I'm unplugging."
But most likely those parents have given their kids iPads and they have like full reign access to social media.
Yeah, maybe.
Their dopamine centers are already burnt the fuck out.
It could go both ways.
It's different. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder because so let's say let's make a comparison or analogy or whatever, and say that it's like, okay, so if you grew up in a house where your parents were partying all the time, they were smoking cigarettes, they were drinking or something, you
sound like some pretty cool parents. I mean,
those are cool ass parents, dude.
Right? Totally.
Where's this going down?
That's what my kids are gonna get. But the argument would be like, okay, you see the negative side of that, but maybe you go the other way.
Sure.
But I feel like, and I don't know,
unless your parents let you do like bumps of coke while they were partying, and you will grow up to be a coke head.
As long as they're doing it in my house.
Yeah.
Under mine. But you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's more like you'll see the negative effects more acutely, whereas like social media use, it's like it's not going to be as obvious, and it's easier for a parent to give their kid a tablet, like you say, or a phone, like you say, than it is to give them a cigarette. Like no parent's going to give their kid a cigarette, but they'll give them a phone,
Except for the French.
There's like this. Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
The French will give their kids cigarettes, but lights only.
Yeah, and un petit peu de vin, hein? It's
the
not
baby
a
would like
problem.
a smoke. I mean,
it's okay.
Do you have another better way for the
15,
child to relax? I'd like to hear it.
Yes.
Well,
the way
you
it's
guys, you guys,
culture,
you
it's,
guys know my
Hey,
partner
America.
Ashley is a teacher, and she talks about seeing the effects of what do they call iPad kids, or whatever they are. I think there's a name for them, but
autistic.
well, that's they're actually behaving with like autistic like antisocial things, but they're not. They're just completely unsocialized because they've been basically from the time they were a baby to the early years of school, they just glued to a screen.
Yeah.
And if you've ever watched the kids programming, that like if the algorithm thinks you're a child and what it throws at you, it is mind-numbingly stupid.